Not a title that you'd find on a YouTube video every single day, but I feel that we need to discuss this because according to Hadi Awang, Malaysia is now Islamophobic. Sapoops, in one of his awesome possum Minda Presiden PAS postings, our favourite president for life declared that Malaysia Madani is openly Islamophobic. You're like, apa? Of course, there's an open question of how much this man actually knows about Islam, considering he thinks that secularism is a worse sin than murder and fitnah. But hormat ulama, so say the walauns. And the party he leads is called Party Islam Se-Malaysia, so surely he must be legit, right? Right? Taking that aside, his opening shot is to declare that PH is dominated by the secular crowd, oriented towards liberal democracy, before starting his eternal complaint about the DAP. But okay, apparently he thinks that Malaysia is now Islamophobic. And I'm like, huh? We have a multi-billion-dollar JAKIM budget, OP state religious councils, constitutional provisions that prohibit evangelism to people who are Muslims, and you call us Islamophobic? There he goes, justifying his argument, talking about how, ooh, if we have foreign influence, that has a very bad effect, disregarding the fact that the religion was brought to Malaya by those foreign influences in the first place, which is fortunate for Hadi Awang because he is a politician and he is not a historian. Here he is with his long sermon. Wow, thank you for your hard work. Or the hard work of whoever you asked to do research for this. Bro, like, what? I don't even know how long this piece actually is, but like, if I were to just like put this right now into Google Docs and just check with the word count, how many words would I get? Alright, let's see. Boom. Select all. Tools. Word count. Bruh. 2,614 words. That's crazy. Where does bro get all the time to write all of that nonsense? Well, I guess maybe he does it when he pon things from Parliament, but anyway, he blabbers on about how by following PH they went away from their so-called true nature, or at least whatever he believes it to be, while never actually giving any specific examples. It's okay, the fewer the examples, the easier the masses are going to be deceived by this man. Before he asks the question, the very important question, of how given the leadership of Muslims who are Arabs, Turks, Kurds, and so on and so forth, whether the Malays will one day lead the entire world. Before straight jumping to the conclusion that, oh, if you're a Malay and Muslim, then confirm you'll be targets. And I'm like, bruh. Here, ladies and gentlemen, we see a magnificent example of playing victim, making enemies where there are no enemies, terpaling offended when there is no offender. And here he goes again talking about gelombang hijau, DAP, while acting as if Malaysia somehow has to care about the attacks on Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, and others, which of course people of many different races have cared about, and even some DAP members as well, but of course, if it doesn't fit the narrative, then Hadi Awang's not gonna talk about it. Before he talks about how, oh, now we have a situation that's no longer controlled because of a very liberal government influenced by Western approaches that are secular and pragmatic. I'm like, sorry? Like, pragmatic? Like, making money? Like, that's not relevant to you? Well, I see why your SG4 states are in the state that they're in, but whoa, moving on. For this grand claim that the government is very liberal, he gives the proof that there have been many court cases that allegedly do not memihak kepada Islam, and open sky media with no borders that have made his religion a target. And I'm like, wow. You know, from that simple set of lines, we can understand a couple of things. Number one, the President for Life doesn't understand that there's a separation between judiciary, executive, and legislative. Meaning, the government is not supposed to be able to influence court cases, at least in theory. And if this Sapoop wanted to talk about justice and fairness, maybe he should be talking about the Yusuf Roder case, or any number of other things. But here he shows that apparently you can throw away the law if it doesn't align with his his interpretation, however twisted and self-serving it may be, before going on and declaring that, oh, the government should control all media. So yeah, those of you who are hoping for no EKYC or otherwise underpass, keep on hoping, because it's not going to be any better. As he goes on and on to talk about how his religion apparently has become a target because it is a challenge to the Western bloc, when most Malaysians are not even thinking about the Western bloc in the first place. We are literally just trying to make a living and have a good life. But apparently to him, he keeps on letting this concept live rent-free in his head while trying to brainwash people who probably won't even read this long and rambling essay. But anyway, there he finally, after a long time ever since the start of his essay, talks about what Islamophobia actually is. Clearly, this man has no idea how to actually write an essay. Define your terms, old man, where he declares Islamophobia is presumption, fear, hatred, or discrimination that is not rational towards Islam or Muslims, that manifests in various forms, such as verbal attacks, mockery towards religious symbols, and also physical violence. And Islamophobia is associated with negative stereotypes about the religion as a source of violence or extremism. Before he goes on and says that the narrative is being created in a new world that is created and also taken part in by the PH government that is running the country. Wow, what a bold claim! The same way that you boldly claim that DAP was communist and you still have provided no proof for that at all. Before a whole ton of rambling about how these alleged enemies are fighting against him, fighting against religion, I am a warrior, nega chael chalaka, citing the enemies, the barwas, blaming the government for everything from the creation of SIS, possibly to McDonald's itself, declaring that the true followers are depicted in a bad image. It's actually truly amazing what this guy has tried to come up with here, all of which is too long for us to go through. You can probably read it yourself though, but in case you don't want to read it, maybe you can look at the reactions that people have, and you can notice that there are 517 laugh reacts from people of all races around the country. Well, thank you ulama, thank you president for life. What enlightenment, what we have learned. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I live in an Islamophobic country, that's crazy. But you know, one of the things I liked the most about what this guy said was this. The challenge that was biggest and the exam that was heaviest came about because Islam was most hated and demonized by the devil because it got rid of lostness and defeated cruelty. Islamophobia is a justification that only this religion is the true religion. And I'm like, huh? Alright, taking aside this true religion or not true religion, that's none of my business. I'm not interested in that. Lakum dinukum waliya din. But apparently, according to this old man, it is because they hate us, therefore we are true. I'm like, what? Are you even listening to yourself? Do you know that people can hate other people or hate things for hundreds of different possible reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with whether what you believe is true or not? People can hate me because I'm too direct. They can hate me because I'm not direct enough. Maybe some of you hate me because I wear a hat, just took off my hat, put my hat back on again, or because I'm speaking in English. But if you hate me for any of those reasons, does that mean that I automatically became your messiah? No, it does not. But still, that is the logic that is used by this king of the Walawuns, who apparently thinks that being hated automatically makes you the savior of the world. Good job! Wonderful logic. But in case some of you are a little smarter than this man, and trust me, the bar is not very high, you realize probably that being hated has absolutely nothing to do with whether you're correct or you're not correct. And if literally all you can do to say that you must surely be the ones to save Malaysia is that people hate you, then I guess that explains why there are so many socially incapacitated people out there in the comment sections going out there and supporting this line of argument by being obnoxious before begging on the street. In fact, I'm pretty sure that most of you who are watching this, you have your Muslim friends, you may have gone for Muslim weddings as well. You would know that we don't mind if people pray, you don't mind if people eat apart from us, because people have
fundamental primeval differences.
diverse in terms of the way that they live, and as members of a diverse society, we can accept that. Of course, that all gets corrupted when you bring in social media and politicians who all want to win votes from the less educated amongst us who are just using TikTok day in and day out and spreading nonsense like what the old man just wrote, while playing victim, trying to shove religion in people's faces, complaining and complaining, while declaring that that's what's needed to move the country forward. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself. I wonder if even 50% of his followers read that steaming pile of nonsense, but I'm sure over 90% of them feel enraged by it. They're all against us, they all hate us. How dare they persecute us? So they will declare, forgetting the simple fact that they are the majority and that it is pathetic to go around declaring that people hate you, to go around declaring that people hate your religion, when basically your entire party behaves questionably, and the moment people respond, then you're like, oh, I'm sorry, it's Islamophobia. Like, what? Well, here's news for you. PAS is not Islam. PAS is a political party, and if anyone in the world, doesn't matter their race, doesn't matter their religion, were to behave in the same way that PAS behaved, then of course the world would hate you. Like what? Are you blind? Look at this list of things right here. Do you see all of the things that these people have been doing left, right, front, and center? We've seen it all along and we continue to see it. We understand when you're trying to whitewash yourself and say that you're absolutely clean, but you're not. You never have been. You never will be. Bro, remember how he was just talking about Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, and all of those other things, but somehow never talking about the drug problem in his own state? The fact that those people are some of the poorest in the entirety of Malaysia. The Teh Tariks, the Sumang Mahrams, or any of the other things that you might not expect to see in an actual civilized state? Or are you already drinking your own Kool-Aid so much to the point that you conveniently forget about all of those things and are nicely blaming every single one of them on Islamophobia at this point? So here he is with no results at all except for screaming "Jangan cinta dunia sangat" to all of these people out there, and then taking infinite offense when people say that they just don't want to be part of your stupid religious thing, which by the way, we don't have to be because by spirit, we are a secular country. However much you hate the constitution, however much you hate the monarchy, that is true. Until or if you win the election and the entire house of cards comes crumbling down. To close, I'm not even going to use the term Islamophobia here because again, PAS is literally just a political party. Maybe we should call it PAS phobia instead. But I don't think that applies given that a phobia means an irrational fear. And given everything that PAS has done in the past couple of years, we have very valid and rational reasons to fear what they're doing, what they're saying, every single thing that the president tries to communicate. If you keep on screaming that you're the #1 heroes of the religion, interfere in foreign elections, alienate our partners, nobody is going to like you and they have very valid reason to not like you. So do us a favor and don't turn around and say, oh, they all hate us, why? Because come on, you know the answer. But what do you think, friends? Am I wrong, biased, misinformed? Is Malaysia and Malaysia Madani actually Islamophobic? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. That's all to say about that, and bye.